The company first gave us our brief over 3 years ago. The project needed all this time, partly because it is a complex product involving special technology and construction techniques, and partly because this was the first time we'd ever dealt with a product of this kind. And so, first of all, we had somehow to create the experience for ourselves. Over the course of these 3 years, we did indeed create that experience, starting from the idea that the company had actually asked us to work on, that being to create a unique space for a Turkish bath, just as they had been doing up to now for their saunas. Our starting point was their touchscreen technology, and we took this as the pivotal feature around which to construct the Turkish bath environment. So, what fired our creative inspiration, if that's how you want to put it? Our task was to try to reproduce that image that springs to mind when we think of a real Turkish bath. All those sensations, both physical and emotional, how the materials relate to the space and how we move inside it. Then translate all this into a marketable concept. This is the request and limit the company imposed on us. I believe that the result is that we have indeed managed to reproduce all those sensations. The best thing about this challenge was that it had never been done before. We had never designed an object of this sort, and so the most exciting challenge was trying to do this very thing, which is part of the fascination of every new project and every new experience. Over the years, there have been many challenges along the way. Coping with the technology, regulations to comply with, getting the right proportions. The trick was to make all these things enter into a dialogue, creating an initial sensation of the product's aesthetics, of its unique feel. We have worked long and hard. We have found some good compromises, but without ever giving up on that original idea. We have made so many adaptations, something that, in itself, was quite a challenge. We had to make careful choices for some materials, not of course marble, which recalls the traditional Turkish bath, but patterned glass, which was intended to emphasize that private, yet not totally private sensation. That feeling of now you see it, now you don't, which is precisely the effect the steam inside a Turkish bath creates. This quasi-private sensation was essential for creating a positive environment. The choice of burnished steel was a good result, in the sense that it recreates the feeling of copper, adding greater emphasis that has not passed unnoticed, because had we used ordinary steel, it could have looked, if not uninteresting, at least ordinary. The reason why we did so much research on a material that really shows off the object was not only to attract interest, but also to give the item more personality. The personality of that particular moment in the event. In this case, dousing with cool water to refresh yourself after the Turkish bath, part of the genuine tradition of the Turkish bath, something that it was nice to emphasize, even in such a tiny space.